Right. Let's begin.
Let us begin.
Not many people here.
It is 7:02, and I would call the meeting, the Tilton Budget Committee, to order on October 21st, 2015. Now, I would say one couple administrative things that I'd like to take care of before we get to the meeting minutes, and you can certainly read those as I'm doing the administrative things. It's been requested by Pat Constantino that we hold off on the financial reports, reviewing that until the next meeting. So she may be present along with Tim and the rest of the members of the Select Board to answer any questions that we have. Does the committee have any questions or issues with holding off until next week? John?
No.
I make a motion to hold off until next week on the financial reports.
Second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
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 Those opposed, nay. Second piece of administration, and Claire, if I tend to forget, Jane, don't let me forget, we have a sign-in list for any of our visitors that are coming in to present their materials. We'll have them sign it, okay? So that will be available. Okay, meeting minutes. Would you please take a look at the meeting minutes? John?
So that you get on the recording, if you can move, there's one mic there, a little closer to you guys. Just,
This one that was humming, that's why I moved it over there.
I had that plugged in the wrong spot. Yeah, you gotta be pretty close to get a good...
Okay.
On page 3, second paragraph up from the bottom, I questioned the Northfield and Samberton's contribution.
Right, good job.
They're part of the school district. And the kids are getting the thing. I took a look at them before. I did my homework this time.
You did good?
That was the only thing I saw.
I didn't see anything. I just saw one thing that might have been worded better, but couldn't see. Make a motion to accept the minutes as corrected.
Is there
I'll second it.
any discussion, additions, subtractions? Hearing none, all those in favor accepting the meeting minutes of October 14, 2015, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Hearing no nays, accepted unanimously. Since we have time, because our first visitor is not till 7:15, would the committee like to discuss the Red Cross request for funding? Jane, do we know how much they requested? Jane or John?
What's that?
The Red Cross,
How much did they
what did they
request?
request for funding from us?
That was it 1,000?
They requested, I got it right here.
1530? Yeah, 1,530. Is that it? Oh, that's New Beginnings.
No, 750.
750, yes.
750.
Yeah.
So the Red Cross has requested that we
Right, up front.
fund them at $750. Do I hear a motion so we can start discussion?
Make a motion to start discussion.
Okay?
No, okay, we got a motion to,
Just to discuss. Okay? All right.
Bring it to the table for
I second.
discussion.
Right, so moved and seconded. Any discussion? Jane or John?
I put a question into, trying to think of her name, Stephanie. I emailed her after she sent that back, because the thing with the smoke detectors is that you have to fill out an application for them online, which kind of excludes a lot of people who can't install a smoke detector may not be able to operate a computer or have access to a computer. And I asked if there was a phone number. Did I CC everybody on that?
I didn't think so.
It should be on there. I think I did, but I'm going to ask her again. She hasn't replied yet.
Okay.
So, and that was one of my concerns, is that a lot of those services, yeah, they're great, but they overlap everything that's already in place in the towns with the fire departments and that.
Yeah, that's what my thought was as well, because, I was driving by the Sanborn and fire, and they have a big sign about servicing fire alarms and smoke alarms, So, it's like, that's the logical place, I
Yeah.
think, for people to go to, is the fire department, if they have questions, and so I don't know.
I guess...
well, I don't think,
Go ahead, Jane.
I'm sorry. I don't think I don't think a lot of the 750 would be spent on that, though. I wouldn't think. And I just think that's one of the services. I was interested in the fact that this year, they've started educating, which they have not done in the past, and I think that is a very valuable resource. And we have people who have taken advantage of that. They had the figures on that, and I can't recall exactly what they were, of people who have taken advantage of some of the nursing courses and things like that.
The LNA course and the CNA course that they're offering, it gives an opportunity for a lot of our residents to be involved. And $750 doesn't even come close to what you would spend on those courses if you went to the tech or to the college university. And the other piece that I like from them is they're almost doing the financing for the students, because they're looking for grants for students to pick up that funding. And for $750, plus the disaster aid, we came close last year to having to use them. Hopefully, you knock on wood that we never do, but we came close last year at Thanksgiving, when the electricity went out, that could have escalated even worse than it really was. So I think $750 is a reasonable amount to have that. And John, I understand your concerns. The other piece we need is interesting, is since the school now gives all ninth graders computers, okay, as part of their curriculum. So a major part of the student body over there, 9, 10, 11, and 12, now have their own computers.
So they can't go everywhere on there, it's extremely...
Library, well, that's been a problem altogether, but you can go to school and certainly get online from there. But it's like, I think $750 is not a big amount for the services they're providing, so therefore I don't have a problem with that. Jane?
Yeah, this is the first year they've only asked for $750. Prior to this, they've asked for $1,500, I believe. Isn't that correct, Johanna? They've asked for $1,500.
Yeah.
And they are one of the few organizations that have dropped their request. And I've had an opportunity to see them in action when there's a fire. And I want to tell you, I was never a real big advocate for the Red Cross, but I had occasion on two different occasions to see them in action in Tilton. And believe me, just the fact that they were there, Johnny on the spot, they were there almost as quickly as some of the firemen that were dispatched later were there. And they had everything in line. It was bam, bam, bam. It was a situation where there was a woman with a severe illness and her medicine had burned. They left there, one of them left there, 2 people came, left there and went and had her medication before we had left the premises. And it doesn't take much to spend $750 if you're dealing with fire that completely guts a house, and you have an elderly person and a adult and children in there. So I think that it's very reasonable what they've asked for.
Yeah. And I think, John, if I can write something, or you can write something strongly recommending they take a look at that, the fire detector program, and how people can access it, and see if they can actually form a system where they are in conjunction with the local fire department in dealing with the program. Because it's an interesting program, and I think that the fire department would be willing to at least work with them.
Does the fire department provide the smoke detectors and such? Because they said they provided everything.
Right.
The fire
I think
department
fire-
provides batteries, I believe, is all that the fire department
Yeah.
provides.
Yeah, they said they'd put all of them in.
Right. Okay.
Houses have them already,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, if they rent, they get inspected. and they-
Right.
Yeah, so, I don't know.
Further discussion?
I mean, I'd like to see classes in Tilton, but we can't tell them where to put the monies.
Well, you certainly can write to, is it Stephanie?
Yeah,
And
well, I
tell her
guess,
that this is what you're looking for,
Yeah.
and I don't have a problem with that at all.
My
Okay?
daughter paid $1,500 just for the basic LNA, so
Yeah.
that's more
Did she
than,
get it back? Because she can get that money back.
She can now get that here.
yeah, you have to be in the
Yeah.
nursing home within a certain time frame and blah, blah,
Right.
blah, and she didn't
Oh.
do all that. She works for the Meredith one.
I would get to Stephanie and say,
She's actually applying to Genesis, funny enough.
further discussion?
yeah, will we go vote on paying tonight? I think it might be nice if Stan's here. Usually we,
I have not seen Stan in 2 weeks now.
You mean Eric?
Eric comes.
Eric, I'm saying,
Yeah,
Okay.
if Eric's here, so that we're all,
okay.
because we're only here.
John has suggested we hold off till Eric is here. What is the wishes of the committee?
I agree.
It works.
Okay,
I don't have a problem with waiting till Eric's here.
let's table this. At this point, you don't have to, because I don't even have to take a vote at this point in time,
It's
correct?
just for discussion.
Just for discussion person. Okay, I'll on to the next one. Next one we're talking about is the New Beginnings.
So,
Motion to bring it forward for discussion.
bring it forward for discussion.
Second.
Okay, discussion.
I think we should fund that program at the amount requested.
They ask for the same amount every year, it looks like.
What is the amount that they're
Actually,
requesting?
1530.
last year, how much did we fund? Do you remember?
What they asked for.
What they asked for.
1530.
Yeah.
And the year before was 1530.
Forget what our recommendation was last year, and
Oh, 15 requests and approved, yeah,
that's what they asked for.
yeah.
And this year, they're asking for,
Well, I'm glad they're aware of the shelter issue now.
Yeah.
Hopefully, something gets done about
I
that.
think they're asking for a little more, but it's negligible. But if we're going to wait on the American Red Cross for $750, then I think we should certainly wait on this one until Eric's here
Yes.
also.
Yeah.
Although I don't think that's probably going to change a vote.
No problem, but you have an initial feeling in regards to it.
I'm in favor of funding it.
Yeah.
Come on up.
I think it's, one of the things that, they divide up what they plan to receive from funding from the towns, and they divide that per capita. It doesn't seem right that the other towns become supportive of towns like, we've got
Samberton and,
Guilford,
Guilford,
did
yeah.
not fund a single thing, and if you look in there, how many calls they had to Guilford. It was in the email, I forget how many was it?
But what do
don't
you
know,
propose to do about that, though? I don't understand.
It's
what
Yeah,
we can-
I
just
guess
disheartening. It's very
It is.
disheartening
Yes,
that
it
a
is.
town that has a much broader tax base cannot contribute to something that they're receiving a greater portion than some of the, the lesser tax-based towns.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree that it's unfortunate, but I don't see that there's anything at all that we can do about it, number one. And number two, if it's valuable to our citizens, to me, that's the crux of the issue. Do our citizens get served by it, and do they get served well? And is it worth what they're asking for? And my answer is a resounding yes.
Now, last year, we gave the 1530?
Yeah, it was what they asked.
Oh, Willis, hold on just for a second. Would you like to come up and join us? I want to give you a second at least to catch your breath. Okay? No, you're fine. Keep going. You have a seat, get ready, and we'll go for it.
No, that's just my feelings about it.
Okay, feelings. Any feelings? Say that.
Happiness.
Happiness.
About new beginnings.
Yes.
No, I think it's extremely worthwhile. I think it seems like they're very efficient. As far as the Guilford thing, I think maybe getting the media involved and like talking about the funding in a newspaper piece may be appropriate in a general sense, but there's nothing we can do about it, so I'm just in favor of funding it at that.
Didn't they say they do some kind of warrant thing? Does that mean they collect from the town?
It means that, I think it's Sanborn where they do that. It means that the Sanborn Budget Committee refuses to give them money. So they appear at their town meeting with a warrant article
And then they duke it out.
they should do
signed
that in
by so
Guilford.
many people, and then it's up to the legislative body to say yay or nay.
John, you have something to add?
Yeah, I just thought I'd point out some of the other towns so that the public knows that Tilton's always supported the New Beginnings, but the town of Barnstead did not budget it last year. It says the town of Guilford did not budget or give any money to New Beginnings last year. Laconia, who has the enormous amount of people that utilize their services, reduced their giving to by 48%.
Didn't she
And-
correct that, though? I thought
She
she
said
did.
something, yeah, she said that didn't belong in there.
She said that was incorrect. That's what she
Should be in
said
the
last
minutes.
week when
I think
she
it
was
was
here.
a question
crossed it
that...
off.
Yeah.
She
I think it
said that was
the
an
town
error.
of Guilford, they didn't budget it. I think she went to them. And the town of Sanborn didn't.
Yeah,
Sanborn didn't, but I think she said that Laconia, 48% was in error.
Yeah.
That was not correct.
yeah.
Okay. Let us hold off for a couple minutes. We have a guest, and I can actually read upside down, which is not bad for an old man. This is Lisa. It is Lisa, and you are for the Old Home Day?
No, I'm here to speak on behalf of CASA.
All right, we can take care of CASA. Good. Okay, Lisa, would you introduce yourself?
My name is Lisa Howe, and I live in Northfield, actually. And I've been a CASA volunteer for 12 years, and they asked me to come and speak to you on behalf of CASA, because we were asking if you would be able to donate.
Right. Hang on for just a second. I'm going to start with the gentleman at the desk. Name, sir?
Peter Fogg.
I'm John Scanlon, I'm also a selectman.
Select board and the ex officio member of our board. It really is a member, longtime member of the Budget Committee. Wayne Brock?
Jane Alden?
Juliet Harvey.
And Christine.
Okay, the floor is yours. It's very informal, so relax.
First of all, I apologize for being host tonight. I don't know how much you know about CASA, but CASA is coordinating special advocates. And by law, when there's a finding of abuse or neglect, a judge has to appoint an advocate for the kids in court. And right now, we're only able to represent 87% of the kids that come to us. The rest get turned away, and hopefully we'll get a paid guardian ad litem. We're volunteers, and what we do is we are the child's voice in court. We meet with the parents if there are foster parents involved. If the child is of school age, we go to the school meetings. If there's IEP meetings, we attend those. Meet with guidance counselors. We talk to therapists. Obviously, the therapist can't divulge anything that is, confidential, but they will tell us that they're meaningfully participating, making progress, things like that. In my own experience, if I've had a child who, say it's a male, who has a female therapist and it's not a good fit, I will advocate for there to be a change in therapist, because obviously they're not going to disclose to someone like that. Perhaps the therapist doesn't specialize in what the child needs. If the child is struggling in school, then advocate for them to be tested so that they'll have the things that they need in order to excel in school, because it's already hard enough if they've been taken out of their environment. Because one thing with kids, even when they're abused, they still love them and die. So the one thing that CASA is to them is their one constant, beautiful thing. I've had kids that I've only had for a few weeks, and the conditions have been corrected and they go home. I've had children for 6 years before they age out of the system, because in New Hampshire, when they reach a certain age, they can choose not to be adopted. So they stay in the system for a long time. And they may go from home to home, but at least they have us to be able to be that consistent for them and to be that good for them in court. When I first started this, the kids didn't go to court, and that has changed. Now, if they want to go to court, they can. If they choose not to, they can write a letter to the judge that they can go into court and attend part or all of the hearing, so the judge can get to know them and spend time with them, and they can voice what they need to. But if they don't get comfortable attending court, then we can do that for them and be their voice in court so they don't have to face their abuser. CASA is nonprofit. We are in all 10 counties. We don't have enough volunteers. And any help that we can get is desperately needed in order to serve these kids. The one thing that is very different between us and a paid guardian ad litem is that by law, we're required to see the kids at least once every 30 days. A paid guardian ad litem is only required to see them once over the course of the entire case. And that makes a huge difference for these kids when they come out. Especially if it's a case that goes on for a long period of time.
Yes. Very good. Quick, ready for questions? Take a breath. Christine.
A little short of breath, though.
That's all right.
I can say CASA of New Hampshire is better than Massachusetts, that I can tell you. So you make recommendations to the court, but some of these cases are in their own, stay in their same home where this has happened?
It depends on the case.
And what type of...
Many times we don't agree with the state. What I've done with the social workers is I ask them that we can agree to disagree in front of the kids. The kids do not need to know that we don't agree. They have enough discord in their life. They don't need to know that the people that are trying to get things better for them don't agree. And the other thing is, depending on the age of the child, I explain to them that they can tell me, what they want, and I will tell the judge what I think is in their best interest, but I also will always tell the judge what they want. Excuse me, so that even if what they want is not what I think is in their best interest.
Some water over there if you'd like some. Go ahead, take your time. And there's some hard candies here,
Hard
too.
candies right there, too.
Okay, take your time.
Sorry.
Actually, one thing I can say is, over all the years that CASA's been coming in here, that CASA represents the kids that have no representation, the ones that are in the toughest situations and have nobody else that will step up for them. And
Piece of hard candy if you'd like. There you go.
I don't think anybody could say anything bad about CASA and all the work that you guys do.
I don't know, I'm surprised that you're only requesting $500, and
I was going to talk about that in a minute.
And you have done that for the last few years. You've never raised it, and I think you need more money, but...
Christine?
I'm good right now.
I'm good, it sounds worthy, and they're not asking for an increase, so.
Now, nothing stops us from doing that.
Oh, yes, well,
Nothing stops us from doing that,
yeah.
okay?
I would like to recommend that we consider increasing our donation to CASA.
Okay, and we'll take that up at the next meeting. Okay?
I can say nothing bad. I think you do a wonderful, wonderful job. And you, several years ago, you had an open house. I'd suggest you maybe want to do that again. And anybody who has any extra free time, it's worth their while to volunteer for the organization.
I have 3 prejudices. None of them are bad. One is, I'm a retired social worker, so I know where you're coming from. Second thing is, I am CASA trained. I am also a member of the Middle of the Aisle Club in court, and you know what that's all about. And my members are, when you go into a court case, you're assigned the chair in the middle between the state and the family. And you know you're in trouble when the judge looks at you and goes, okay? So part of the job of a CASA volunteer is to go to court and to be an advocate for the child. Lots of parents and lots of state social workers have a hard time understanding what it means to be an advocate for the child. Okay? So I agree. I think that CASA really needs to take a look at how much. What would be nice if they could provide us some data on actual kids. Kids, I hate that. I hate the word kid because I'm an old goat.
You are an old goat, but that
I know. How many children or families are being serviced in the Tilton area? Aha! John's on the computer.
85 were serviced in the Belknap County, and they're projecting 95.
So you're getting about $5 a child, or service. I can't get a cup of coffee for less than $5 lately. John, questions, or?
No.
I wonder why.
Peter Wake over there, he's doing better.
Very admirable of you to come as a volunteer, and you're unpaid, I assume, and you're not feeling too well. I'm wondering where the paid personnel for CASA are tonight, why they aren't.
I literally live right around the corner, around the corner. And I think they wanted someone who actually has I've done it for so long. And it means a lot to me. I actually had the honor of I'm a huge NASCAR fan. And I don't know if you know much about the NASCAR Foundation. They honor 4 people nationwide every year for the Belgian humanitarian award. In 2013, I was one of those people.
Congratulations. It's very difficult.
And I come from a tiny town in northern New Hampshire of 800 people, and that was one of the hardest things I've ever done in my life, was to allow them to put me out there like that. And it's very hard for me to speak in public and stuff, as you can probably tell.
She's doing good.
Doing a good job.
Yeah, very nice.
Someone said to me when they asked me to do that, think of you as being the conduit for the kids. And that's what I think of tonight as, that I'm the conduit for the kids. And what I do for my real job is I work in clinical research. I travel all over the U.S. and Canada, and I work with physicians and stuff. And when someone told me about CASA, I thought, I can handle those doctors and stuff.
Big kids.
These kids need somebody who can talk
Yes, they
to
do.
them and stuff. And you look at these kids and you see the difference between when they first come in. And even if they do go back home, if the conditions have been corrected, it just makes it all worthwhile for
Right.
them.
And I would go back and talk to the folks and say, it was the budget committee, and they're saying maybe we should be a little higher. in the request. And also that an open house would be wonderful for people to kind of wander in. And we can invite the select board on occasion to things like that. Although we don't want them, but that's okay, John. But yeah, again, there's a need for the service. And for $5 per service, it's not a lot of money.
And unfortunately, with the drug epidemic that's out there, it's making us need it even more.
Yeah. And the more wrinkles. I was just reading a paper on the new drug court system, where they are going away from probation for drug users to the drug court model, which means more and more folks are coming out, more and more families are going to be increased. The other thing that scares the living bejesus out of me was the sudden spike in infant and child brutality that's going on right now. Kids are dying or getting hurt because they're left in families too long and not being remembered. Before we get past it, Peter, comments?
No, it's a worthy cause.
Okay. So you did good, so don't? Okay, this is a very friendly board. We don't bite lately.
Sometimes Wayne does, so.
I do, yes, that's why I get to stay in the middle.
We talk too much sometimes, though.
Yes, we like to talk. And don't feel bad, because my voice isn't a cold, it's just old age and a lack of sleep.
Thank you all very much, I really appreciate it.
No problem.
Some of your comments.
Do you know what the number would be for Tilton specifically?
I don't, I can
Yeah.
just,
Good.
But just looking at this, well, statewide, it says children served 1,086 kids were helped out. We've got 443 volunteers.
Yeah. Oh, yeah,
There's, for people to volunteer, there's a lot. The mileage traveled for these kids was 558,825 miles, over 500,000 miles. This is for fiscal year 2015.
my family lives, do you know where Arrow is?
Yep.
My mom is an ovarian cancer survivor, and I rented a house up there last summer in order to spend more time with her, and I would travel down here to see my child at least once every 30 days in order to...
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When I was,
56,000 volunteer hours.
yeah.
And actually, they gave me information, and they said that in order to protect the confidentiality of the children that we serve, we can't say exactly how many kids actually live in the town of Tilton.
Right.
So, because like when I go to visit, I can't say to my significant other, I can't say to him, I'm going to such and such, because I can't tell him where the child is located. I can leave, if it's anything where I'm concerned about my safety, I can leave an envelope on the table that says where I am, and then if I don't come back by a certain time, then he should call the police and to give them to the
Yeah.
police.
The person who works, when I worked in Tilton, I had a child in Plymouth, one in Wolfboro, and the closest one was Franklin. And you did a circuit. And if you went to court, there's nothing like going to Plymouth for court in the middle of winter. Or even Wolfboro, because you can't get there from here.
And sometimes too, if, you may take the case and the child's at home, and if things happen, we may ask that they be removed.
Right.
Because it's just not safe anymore. Or they may be in a foster home, and it's a perfectly good foster home, but it's not good for that child. It may be a foster home where you have a girl who's been abused, and there's men in the home, male children in the home, and it's not a good fit for her. She needs to be moved because of what's happened to her, and you need to ask for her to be moved. So then you may end up traveling further from where she was originally placed.
And now they're still doing 40 hours worth of, the initial training is 40 hours in Manchester?
Yeah, and then you have training throughout, well, they've actually made trainings throughout the state now.
Good.
But then you have training all year long on different things. They have what they call Fostering Futures, which focuses on how to deal with children in their teens and older, and as they age out of foster care. And they have, we're having a training next month that's on They call it applet. It's an alternative living arrangement for kids that aren't adopted and guardianship. So they do make sure that we are trained, and we also have support groups, because when we're not able to discuss what we do with our families and stuff, we're able to talk with the supervisors and the other classes, so that if we have a particularly difficult case, we can get ideas from them about what, they've done in other
So there's an initial time commitment, a very heavy time commitment to the program, which is good because the volunteers will do the training, they have separate trainings, and again, the support groups, and if you're not up to snuff, you can't be, out there advocating.
We can actually, they passed a law in New Hampshire that if a guardian or guardian's report was late, they could be fined $250.
Yes.
And CASAs, even though they're volunteers, fall under that. We can be fined. You have to have your report we actually put a written report into the court, and it has to be into the court at least 5 days before the hearing, into all parties at the court. And if we're late, we can be fined, because we're not seen as any different than a paid guardian ad litem.
If you're all set, we'll get you out of here so you can go take care of your vote.
Thank
Go
you.
home.
Thank you very much.
Get better, okay?
Thank you all very much.
Not a problem.
Thank you.
Thank you for
We
coming.
appreciate what you do.
Thank you very much.
Really do.
Congratulations on your award.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Get better.
I've been on antibiotics for a week. It's not working.
Doctors don't do this. What's that?
It's right over there.
Next to the,
Okay. Joanna, do we have anyone coming in for Old Home Day?
They have not responded to me.
Okay, then let's talk about them anyways.
7:15, so I would say no.
Okay, good. Jane, would you like to take the lead on this one? Or John? Old Home Day Committee.
well, they'll take
You
a
have it
look.
in the
I don't
back.
know how much they have in their budget left over. I'd have to look.
Well, even though Old Home Day is local, I feel exactly the way I do about every other organization. If they don't care enough to show up, that tells me something.
Good point.
It is worth noting.
Is that what
$6
you're looking
grand
for?
in the bank.
Yeah, did it show the previous years? I mean, how much they usually carry forward from, for their seed money?
According to them, they don't carry anything forward.
Well, it says $6,165 that they
Yeah.
have carried forward.
Now, there should be a packet in your materials.
Yeah. Jane?
You can get that, Jane?
Well, I'm looking for it now.
No, it was on the table, so under
Oh.
this stuff, yeah.
So the
Oh,
adjusted
okay, I
October
got it.
1st balance is $5,677. Last year, they made a profit. Total revenue was $14,558. Total expenses was $12,633. I guess my question is if they have the seed money and they make a profit, do they need a contribution from us
Okay.
to keep it going? I mean, everybody, the importance of Old Home Day is a time-honored tradition, and it's enjoyed by everybody. But if it's not costing anything and it's, running at zero, I don't want to take from the tax people for it, things that they can reasonably...
I thought we only gave them 2,000. It says here 3,000.
Looks like
It
3,000.
says 3,000 from us and Northfield.
I think they're asking for 3,000 this year.
Oh, they're asking for 3,000 this year.
Okay. John, all that materials in that packet.
No, right here,
Meeting
3,000.
minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
2,000.
13.
Meeting minutes packet.
Looks like they always ask for 3,000.
Look in the back.
I thought we only asked...
Okay, so I'm going to attach that on to... Thanks.
No problem.
I could have sworn they only was...
Well, that's an important piece of the puzzle, then. How much they're asking for.
Okay, so they...
You can't really do anything before we get a request.
This is definitely one I would like to talk about when everyone's present, including selectmen who've been involved in this in the past. Because Catherine Dawson and Pat Constantino have been involved in the past with Old Home Day.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, we gave 3,000 last year, I guess.
Yeah, because I'd like to know what people say that could be improved on, or what they don't like, what they like.
Yeah, that's a significant amount of money.
Yeah, if they
Yeah.
keep doing the same thing and nobody likes it.
In the past, we have knocked it down. There was one year that they had a considerable balance because they didn't have the fireworks, so they saved the money, so we felt that they didn't need that much seed money to get, because everything...
Sure, we can sit there,
enough money to
whatever
get
you like.
ahead.
Looks like this year they got donations for the fireworks.
We're talking about the
Old Home Day. And I said, I feel about Old Home Day like I do other organizations.
Why does it say 15
They
here
don't
and
care
13
enough
here?
Well, that's...
to send a representative.
I can't go by this, because that says 2013.
It bothers
Made a
me.
mistake,
Oh,
isn't
I
it?
know, but we don't...
All right, we have no idea.
No.
No. Didn't even respond.
No
Didn't even
response.
respond.
They're supposed to be here at 7:30, correct?
7:15.
7:15.
And usually at the end of the year, do they carry that much of a balance, $6,000?
They, one year, they didn't have the
Fireworks.
fire, one year they didn't have Old Home Day because they put it off, it was rain
Yep.
about 5 years ago. And they carried that balance. But with that money, they're starting to replace some of the grills that need replacing, tables that need to be replacing. Fireworks is mainly what we donate to. The rest is, they try to offset it with monies that are brought in with the days of rent, calendar, things like that, raffle, advertisement.
The question would be, they requested 3,000 this year from the balance, which is an increase from last year's, and they're carrying forth a budget, carrying forward a balance of $6,100 as of September 1st.
I don't see a budget for 2016 in here. I see what they spent 2015, but I don't see what they're saying they need to...
Well, we don't even know if
Plus,
that's
we're-
15.
Yeah, I think, it looks like
This-
they made a mistake. It says 2013.
13, and then
But, so, I'd really like a corrected something. I don't know what that,
So, yeah, 2013 revenue.
but the date on this...
I don't
That's how
really
much
care
they
what
made.
they made in 2013.
No,
Or even,
We're
well,
assuming that's a mistake, a
Yeah,
typo, but I don't know. We're not sure.
but what their projected expenses are, what their
Yeah.
budget is for 2016, what are we paying for? Because
Right.
we're paying in advance for that.
Well, I think you'll find out that may be a typo,
Right.
but let's ask them.
I still...
It's hard to ask them when they're not here.
I think
Yes,
that, right, I think you're in a kind of a quandary here because it's,
This is a financial statement.
when you bring two communities together, it's like, it's going to be a short heard around the world if you don't fund Old Home Day, and there'll be a town meeting asking for the money to put back in. It's, but the increase, Jane and I have been on the Old Home Day many years. Last year was the first year we stopped being on it because of time, we couldn't do it.
You see, if we could ask from them, because if you look every other, like, let's say the library, you have the 2015 budgeted, what they were, and then it says the 2016 request, how much they're projecting
Yeah.
to spend for 2016. We have no
Projection.
request for
I would ask
projection.
those things, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's what
No,
we
and
asked.
and I think that they should send a representative. That's
I
yeah,
agree.
my
Answer
opinion.
question.
Couldn't agree more.
Jane, do you want to do that email?
I will.
John, you comfortable with Jane doing that email?
Sure.
Okay.
2000, the normal,
I heard you request that. You're getting too much.
I guess my question, though, is, isn't it customary that Johanna sends an email, a letter asking them to present it?
Yep.
And I think that maybe we'll start with Johanna, and,
You get together with Joanna and do what you gotta do. Okay?
okay?
it's the 2016 budget.
And a rep.
And a representative
And
to
somebody to
show
answer
up.
some questions.
And why, and, you know, just,
You want me to write the letter? Is that what you're asking?
yeah, I just...
I think so, yeah.
It seems to be going that
No, I
way.
just think that's probably more appropriate for you to
Okay.
do it rather than, only because I've been involved in the old home day in the past for so long.
Yeah.
And I don't want it to look like,
But you have points of what you and Joanna get together with, I'm comfortable with, and the
all
committee's
right,
going
I'll
to.
call you, okay?
Talking with some of the people who ran Old Home Day or preparing for it last year, one of the problems that they're running into is, it's been, just like with many many town boards and things, the same people have been doing everything for every year, and there's not a lot of volunteers coming up to help them with this amount, with this work,
Exactly.
creating the budgets, and just putting all this together. And we all know how much time we devote.
Great. Further comments from the Budget Committee?
Nope.
Okay, and Jane, you're going to do the point and follow up for that? Okay, good.
Did we get a cover sheet like this from them?
Yeah.
I don't, why didn't they?
This is what it looks like.
Okay.
Look,
And it says more info to follow.
Okay, yeah.
might be
but-
in the back of your stack, right near the bottom.
It's just one, mine was loose in the
No, I
folder,
don't.
Jane. Jane, mine was
In the
loose in the
packet?
folder.
No, it's
All right, I'll look in the
And it was
folder.
near the
Okay.
end.
I'll look before I I'll call you though, okay?
This is good timing. Just is about to send everybody home.
Oh, you are?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
so you can just,
That's it.
we set us to next week, the financials.
Great, thank you.
Tim went home,
Yeah.
got him out of his office. Hannah was very happy with us
Nice.
to go home. Is there further business that the Budget Committee needs to deal with this week? If not, next week, we will have as a guest, Joanna?
Next week, it is Island Concert Series, halfway.
So we will have those folks coming in. We will be discussing the Red Cross, New Beginnings, CASA, and Old Home Day next week.
Who came in tonight?
CASA, okay?
Excellent job.
Yeah,
The,
volunteer that lives around the corner.
Lisa, who is actually a volunteer,
Yep.
From
all
Northfield.
right? And we did do the sign-in sheet, because we're getting better at this.
Good job.
But we are getting better at this. Not me, but everyone else. Okay, if, any further comments? If not, everyone knows what we're meeting next Wednesday? Okay? Any feedback or discussion from the select board?
We'll be just in time for tax setting time.
See, you're fine. Peter represented you well.
Nice
John,
job, Peter.
John did well.
Yeah.
Kept them spread out. Here are no further questions or articles for debate. The chair will entertain a motion for adjournment.
So done.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Non-debatable motion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right, see you next week.
And I'm hoping that I ran the camera properly. Did I plug it in